Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Stills.
Hello, welcome to the latest episode of the Gull'S Eye View. We've got all of us back. Hey, I'm joined by Dom.
Good evening, guys.
I'm joined by Tom.
Good evening, all. You're right.
Yes, I'm joined by Chris.
You thought my voice notes were good last week. Evening, all.
Yes, well, I can't remember, that feels like longer than a week ago, but we're actually back doing a review. We had a fun doing a couple of watch-alongs that I really enjoyed. Well, didn't enjoy Weymouth's tackling much, evidently. But yeah, so I actually think we'll go into it. But it was actually a very positive weekend for the football club in many ways. I'll say my little bit first. To have 4 youth graduates come through and play a game. I know it was against Roma. No pushovers at all, by the way. But to have 4 youth academy players come through in a time and a period where there's so much bad stuff that are going on off and on the pitch. And this, 4 youth academy players playing in the game did well. Obviously, Callum Thomas came on against Weymouth last week. And I was really impressed with him. I haven't seen the other 3, I wasn't there. But I think it's quite a positive weekend. What do you reckon? I mean, Tom, Chris, take it away, one of you. Good, Chris.
Go on,
Tom. I think I have to say, I think Gary got the balance spot on. Now, of course, injuries dictated a lot of why we had to play youth academy players. Let's not forget that. But Chris, you'll know I said at the beginning before a ball was kicked today, or that game was literally A, no injuries, and B, hopefully win the game. Result I could have probably taken either way at this stage of the competition. But we played really well against, a team that it was their cup final, wasn't it, for Frome? It was a great little day out for us. Really well-run club there, great facilities, lovely people. And again, like we did against Wimborne, we kind of took, in difficult conditions, we were playing against the wind in the first half. And we got the early goal, couple of early good goals as well. They were really quality goals we scored, let's not forget. And, to go the penalty save by Lovett at 2-0 was a key factor because that goes in and that all of a sudden becomes a more difficult challenge. But, fair play to us and fair play to Frome, who never gave up throughout the entire 90 minutes. But in the end, we can only go away with positives. We're into the next round of the trophy. Again, we scored some really good quality goals, I felt. And ultimately, we've come away injury-free, which was the most important thing for me. And now we get to enjoy a trip to Hereford in the new year, which is maybe not so great. I probably would have liked that the other way around at home. But no, Chris, I don't know about you, but there was some good standouts yesterday. There were some good standouts from the weekend.
Yeah, there were. I agree. I mean, I think the balance was right, but it, to a certain degree, was what it was in terms of who we had available. But I agreed with leaving out Moxie. I gather Ash and Lapsley could have played if they had to, but I think it was the right thing to do to leave them both out because, it's a pretty intense period coming up. So I think it was the right thing to do. Jacob Wellington worked hard, ran around, got himself involved, had a bit of a scrap with one of their wingers, which showed he was, wasn't afraid to kind of mix it a bit. And we scored. I think what's been interesting in the last few weeks since the Dartford debacle has been we've won 4 games. We scored a decent amount of goals, and they've been quality goals. We look back to the 4 at Eastbourne, the 2 goals we scored against Tunbridge, the goals against. We're scoring some real good goals. And again, it was a case of the weekend. The first goal was a really good, turnover midfield, surge through from Hanson in the pass for the goal. Second goal was a good volley. Third goal was really nice, intricate play. Same with the fourth. So we're playing well. Yeah, I thought Callum Thomas was impressive. He had the one aberration with the penalty, but I think overall he looks like the sort of player. Sometimes you look at these kids and you think, crikey, they look young, but he looks big and strong. He's got a good left foot. He's not afraid to play the ball and kind of go with the ethos of what they're trying to do in terms of playing out from the back, feed it into McGavin, kind of pivot around. Obviously, Hansen had that role of kind of either side of McGavin at the weekend, which he did well. So. Yeah, absolutely. You just got to hope that a clear week this week was a perfect time to have a clear week to hopefully just clear up some of these niggles. Hopefully Jarvis isn't far away now, and we can then kind of start to get a bigger, more rounded squad available for what is going to be a hectic kind of 3 weeks.
Yes, no, I agree. Dom,
it was everything you could. It was everything you could want from a Saturday afternoon, wasn't it? He gave the youngsters a chance. He didn't get any more injuries. Said the goals were good, weren't they? I think that's one thing we haven't done very well recently is get those through balls right. and we got a couple of them right on Saturday, which is what Theo Williams is looking for, isn't he? He's looking for a decent through ball to get him in on goal, because he's not wanting to work with his back to goal and do that kind of stuff. Is he wants a ball to run onto, and he had a couple of those on Saturday, and he could finish, couldn't he? As he showed that. So if
Needed those goals though.
If he can build on that, he'll score a few goals this season, won't he? But the service has got to be right, which it was. It looked like there was quality about, and it was a good day out for the Yellow Army, wasn't it? Which is all you can ask for. There's context. They're two divisions below us, aren't they? So you'd expect us to beat them. We still fielded 10 professionals out of the 11, so they should be good enough. But we know that's not always the case. So it's making sure you get the job done. And it was a good day out. I was glad for the supporters who make the effort.
I was delighted for that.
You say you don't mind if you don't win, but you want them to play well and win, don't you? And it makes the day worthwhile, doesn't it?
Of course, but I think you also have to look at, we've got bigger fish to fry in terms of the league is the priority. That's kind of my thought, just our luck. In the last couple of games, we've had 6 injuries in 2-3 games. Like, it's crazy. So, and I guess not to discredit from in any way, shape, or form, but if you're going to a cup game, FA Trophy game, you kind of want opposition like Frome in a way, a couple of divisions below. You can probably get away once again with playing the youngsters, or a team half full of youngsters in there. But again, Frome pushed us all the way, even when they were 4-1 down. They made us work, which is good for the youngsters as well. It was a proper squad effort. I think I was coming away with, again, squad effort's going to get us a long way this season if we can get that right. So
I hope these squad players can build on this last few games, because we're talking about Crow, aren't we? We're talking about Hansen.
Had a good game, Hansen.
Marshall. These players are always going to play a part this season, weren't they? And they're always going to, get minutes. Can they build on it?
What role did Hansen play out of interest? Like, because I know it's a couple of stands below, let's not get excited, but was it more of a kind of creative role that he was good at, or was it just more of a complete ball winning role?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of played that role kind of just in front of McGavin, really, which I guess kind of Lapsley's played probably not quite as far forward as Lapsley has at times. But yeah, he kind of picked. But as much as anything, what he did well, which he's not, let's face it, he hasn't done well since he's been with us, was, and you saw with the first goals, to pick up the ball, kind of get beyond their midfield and drive through the middle. And again, just on Williams, I thought, those 2 goals were kind of their classic goals. I think he's the sort of player that he will score. In that, one was a through ball in front of him. He wants everything in front of him, doesn't he? Through ball. So the second one was on the half turn. Again, that second goal, lovely little touch, bang, finish. And
first touch made it, didn't it?
Around. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was a really good goal. Well, Hansen played well in that role. Again,
he's got to build on that, Chris, hasn't he? Because it's all right against Frome, isn't it? Because you're going to get a bit more space to play.
There was a lot of space through the middle. Yeah. But the question is, players like Hansen, will they play?
Yeah,
if Lapsley's back, if Hall's back, if when Dawson's back, how much will he play? And of course, now that Will Jenkins-Davis is back as well. But again, I mean, on that performance, he just looks to me like, if he's fit now, we've just got to get some games, get some 90 minutes in. We played the 90 minutes in that game. Just keep, and I think he will improve. But again, it's just at what rate, isn't it?
I agree.
Marshall, it's a funny one because he's spending more time in the opposition penalty box.
That was hilarious when they lined up and we're like, hang on, what's going on here? And then the ball went out there on the throne and we're like, no, he's literally up front. But he did okay for what he was there for. He threw himself around a bit, won some headers. He's not the worst footballer in the world in terms of
he always puts himself about.
He's not. He's quite good on the ball actually. Marshall is a lot of the time.
Probably needs to learn the offside rule a bit, but other than that, he gave it a good go. He nearly scored near the end, and fair play to him, he gave it a go. And actually that was kind of just that little bit of extra physicality. Of course, that was the only danger, that we'd be a bit. How many times have we been out muscled in games? And that was the only danger, I guess. Which of course with Marsh, though we weren't. So no, I think it did work overall.
Yeah, that's good.
But not every week, please.
Yeah, no, I mean not quite Mark Ellis up front then, but no, I as I said last week on with Tom. The injuries are the part right now which are worrying me, and I'm not saying every time that Dartford game is still like the warning signs are there. We're very vulnerable still, but it's just been nice to see some patterns of play again. I think we should have been playing from the start.
We've also got a bit of team spirit.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it again. It's just something and
playing a bit for each other.
It's for. I kind of feel it's for a conversation another day. all the other stuff with what happened with what Clark Osman said a couple of weeks ago after the interview and all this. So it's going to happen with the Tusk, and I don't really want to. I want to let the Tusk get on with that really, and just see where it goes. I'm very, we still worry. The issue's not gone away, but at the end of the day, we've had a few wins. Wins help with fans and their happiness. Obviously, had a few wins. Youth Academy is working a little bit now. And I don't know.
And we're winning games with these injuries as well. We're missing key players, and we're starting to find some form again. Just feels a bit unified, as you say. It just feels like Gary Johnson's finally got them playing as a squad a little bit. They're not the well-beaten squad that we hoped in this standard like Yeovil have been, but even they're going through, they're just sort of grinding results out a little bit at the moment. Themselves, obviously, they're way out ahead. It's be vaguely impossible to get.
Yeah, I think as well. We were talking at Dartford, weren't we, Tommy? And I remember saying this phase we're kind of still in now, but whilst Jarvis is kind of not that it's all on Jarvis, because of course it's not, but there's no hiding from the fact he's a big player for us. But this phase, whilst he's still not fit, but hopefully heading that way, we just had to hang on in there almost and just kind of get some wins, get some performances. And I agree with Tommy that if we had lost, it would have been the end of the world. At the weekend, but equally going back to what Paul Bucker was used to say, that why he used to select strong sides in the Panther Shield and all of that. It's being a football coach, football squad, football club is about winning games of football. Yeah. And actually, if you can win now 2, 3, 4 wins in a row now, another home game to come, another winnable midweek game, we could be sat here next Tuesday evening with 6 wins on the trot in all competitions, and all of a sudden it all does feel a lot more. But just what you said there, Sam, I think since that Dartford game, I don't know what, but structurally it feels a bit better.
Yes, I agree.
There's a lot more cohesion to the way we're playing, the patterns of play.
They're playing for each other, I think, aren't they?
They are, but there's just more idea. It just looks more, absolutely. It just looks like a bit more of an idea. Everyone understands what they're doing a bit more. So players like Crow and Hanson, who've been fringe players, have come in and they have held their own. And now we're in a position where hopefully there is a bit of a decision to be made when these players come back, when your Lapsley's, your Halls, your Jarvis come back. But yeah, it's just, everything feels better when you're winning, doesn't it? It's always the same, it's the same owner we had when we nearly got in the Football League, isn't it? And just like now we're in the National League South, it's the same owner, but winning games of football changes the mentality and how people feel.
It's not perfect. I mean, we will lose more games as season goes.
Yeah, we will have games.
This isn't a great team by any count, but it's got the job done.
We've got to accept we're going to lose games. I don't accept losing games at this standard. I'll still be like that, but I feel like the way we're kind of moving forward now, we are like, now we're playing in unison. Now there's a bit more of an idea. We're playing better football. I just feel I can get behind it a little bit more again. It's not this, oh my God, this is horrendous to watch. Oh, we scraped a victory. Weymouth, I really felt in that game, because I mean, when you're doing these watch-alongs, it's very much why it's good we record a day after, because you're in the emotion of it more.
I can't cope with it.
Yeah, you don't sit. You see the side of you that you don't want to see. The aggressive, horrible that comes out of games. This tribal thing. You don't actually get to sit in and take it in. Like the next day, I was like, oh, I feel really good about this game. That's probably. I know people will say it's Weymouth. No disrespect to them. It's Weymouth. Actually, loads of disrespect to them. I did not like them last week. It's like it's Weymouth and all that, but it was something in the character where. I'll compare it a little bit to when we beat Chelmsford 3-1. I know we were getting a title that time. It was some of the characters when we went 2-0, 2-1, and it's like all against us. They were battering us. And I just thought, I've seen this game so many times, Torquay are going to fold. We're always too nice. But just to have that quality and to really, have that fight. I mean, to see Colin score that goal. And I just felt really proud watching them that night. I did. And I think and the next day, first on the season, I've gone around the house really happy about a Torquay result. Like it really felt like a bit of a turning point for me.
I think the next test is when we go a goal down in an away game.
Yes,
now,
you're right.
Can we deal with that? Because we're fine when we scored the first goal. I mean, I did a stat, didn't I, Chris? And it was like we'd scored the first goal in 13 games and won like 12 of them. So ridiculous. And we'd lost like 7 or 8 of the ones we had, which was crazy, really. And that could happen against somebody like Chelmsford. You go 1-0 down, away from home. If we can deal with that, and you don't necessarily have to win the game, but if we draw it 2-2 or get a result out, that kind of thing, that's the next step.
Yeah, no, I'm with it. I think
Yeah, the away games.
Sorry, Chris. So I think what's done us over this season, every time we felt like we make a bit of progress, we haven't just come undone. We have failed dramatically. Like some of the away performances and results have been so horrendous. Like when we went 2-1 up and we were top of the league and then we lost 3-2 and and then the Dartford one, even though we should have nicked a couple of goals in that game. And let's not go wrong, in that great team that won the South did lose games in that run under Gary Johnson. Remember, we lost 2-0 at Welling, we lost to Western-super-Mare at home. It does happen, but look at Yeovil, but it's just the manner, and I feel like there's a bit of cohesion about it. Gary Johnson slowly got in the football, the message across is getting coming through now.
I think what I liked about the Weymouth game as well, in particular, was that felt like one of those games where you can almost sink or swim. So because let's face it, everything went against us that way. Because we weren't that good in the first half, really. So we only 1 goal ahead of us, but then you lose a goal just before half time. You've lost a player injured early. You then lose Astra after half time. Stobson pulls up with what was quite obviously a very serious injury, which took the wind out of the stadium for 5 or 6 minutes. But in some respects, it gave Johnson time to he had them all over. It was clear Thomas it was going to be, he was coming on, and they got the structure right. It just felt like, I remember saying to my dad at 2-1 when stops had gone off, thinking, I said to him, bloody hell, we're doing well here. If you looked at what was out on the pitch, it was literally the last 11 players. You had Thomas who just come on, you had players playing out of position all over the place, and it was about finding a way to win the game. And sure, that third goal was the wonderful kick from Alstead. And
one of the standout players to me is Tomlinson recently at centre back.
He's been very good.
He's been class.
He's become a real key man. I mean, it's helped he's had Dean Moxey recently, but he's getting a real steady Eddie at the back. He's making
and do you know what I really like at the back is Harris on loan. He's like a younger Dean Moxey, which means Dean Moxey can play centre back. Which with Dean Moxey at his age now, he just reads the game so well still.
Harris feels like the sort of player who's going to get a 7 out of 10 most weeks.
I'm so desperate for him to be here to the end of the season. That has to try and be done because he can grow well.
What I like about Harris as well is that he looks like, and this sounds like an odd thing to say, but he looks like, and I don't think you see it that much. I think Dylan Crowe is an example of that. Is that he is somebody who looks like he wants to defend.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not about he gets forward and he put a few crosses in at the weekend, but he looks like he's happy to stick his foot in and throw his body on the line.
He doesn't look
you don't always get that feel, do you, nowadays, from young fullbacks?
I don't get that feel, Dylan Crowe, unfortunately.
No, exactly.
He's been a bit better recently, but
I'm happy with him around the
still saw weaknesses against Weymouth. I still saw bits where I think if a better team had been playing, they'd have worked past him.
He's self-standard, isn't he?
He just gets caught in the wrong areas.
Yeah, he doesn't read the games well.
Decisions. No, he's reading the game.
I think the problem with someone like Crowe, which of course is the level, is there's a mistake in him in there. There's a sideways pass across his own midfield, which somebody breaks on and they score through the gap that he's left behind. But again, he wouldn't be playing for us. So you've got to accept that, with the situation with Donnellan at the moment, which is, who knows, but it looks very much like he's not available and not wanting to go into play, whatever. He's kind of had to play, hasn't he? And he's played left back, right back. He's done okay in all of the games. So, you just got to hope he continues.
I don't feel like we've missed Donnellan either.
I want that deal to be resolved because he is probably on quite a decent first team wage. So that money can hopefully, if it's spare, can be used elsewhere.
Imagine if he can't get that move and he wants to get back in. I don't think he gets back in automatically.
I wouldn't right now. No, not
I wouldn't have anywhere near anymore.
No.
I think as much as anything, it's just what the situation is with Donnellan, because you can't refuse to play because we're paying him. But are we not paying because he's refusing to play? Have we agreed he's not in the right mindset to play?
Is it always a personal thing in his life going on which you don't know about?
Yeah, who knows? You just don't know, do you? You just don't know. But that's where the club, and not that any clubs have to explain what's going on, but it would be nice to because they must know that word is out that he wants away. But it's just
he's had a tempting offer from Daggers, whoever. He's heard about it and it's triggered him, I guess, to want to
take it then.
Yeah.
But they've got to come up with the money and it's got to be agreed, isn't it? That's the trouble. He's on the contract. So they probably don't want to pay much. We want to take a bit. And
you mean we might get a fee if we sell him? We might actually get a fee from a Torquay United player.
I would just take a free, really, just to free up his wage and then put it elsewhere. What's 1 or 2
you would have thought he'd be on a
good
contract, though. But it does sound like clubs were interested in him in the summer. It does sound like we had options to offload him in the summer. But I think he's got too much criticism at times. I think he's a solid non-defender.
I preferred him last season.
Equally, he's replaceable.
If I'm honest, I preferred him last season. I thought he was really gonna. Yeah, the system hasn't helped him at all. But I really thought he was going to step up and be one of the best players in the division this year, and he ain't quite done that.
He should be. He should
He
be
should
one of the
be.
better
Yeah.
players in
Yeah.
the division because
He's
he's
just
got the
been all right.
CV
Yeah.
of playing at a decent level in the past, but he just hasn't
I don't think
hasn't
there's
stepped up for
been that
me.
much.
I'm not a great.
It's not been consistent enough, no.
No.
If he gets to move to the National League, good for him. But
Yeah.
personally,
He'll do all right,
you know,
though.
I
He'll do
don't
all right,
think
though,
he'll
yeah.
be too big of a loss, in my opinion, to be honest.
No.
The other problem is he's versatile as well. Right back, centre back, midfield,
Yeah.
which is hard to replace. So
Yes.
I guess that's the other issue. But
And that's
again,
why he's an
you've got
attractive
enough
option
players
to
when they're all
teams like
fit.
Dagenham.
You just get them all fit in it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, I think, going back to Saturday, I think the only annoying thing, Chris, you probably take away was the fact that we did concede one. In my opinion,
I've not lost any sleep over it. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, clean sheets are always good, aren't they? But yeah, no, absolutely.
You know,
We always
how many clean
concede
sheets?
one.
Goal as well.
How many clean
Yeah.
sheets this season? 6 in all comps.
I don't think we got that many. I think we got about 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's always a mistake.
I don't know
in
what
that,
happens.
isn't there? There's always
We always just
something.
give away the odd chance.
It's
don't
just
we?
not.
We just can't.
They just don't close down properly at times, and it's frustrating. So
it'd be nice to have a run of a couple of clean sheets back to back clean sheets.
Yeah, no,
Starting on Saturday.
Yeah, so I was going to say,
Absolutely.
looking forward to Saturday. I mean, and the Christmas period as well. I think we'll still keep a regular schedule for you over Christmas as much as we can. But it's a big Christmas period, isn't it? You know, if it lands for us, we could easily catch up and secure that kind of top 3 position.
5
put pressure
games
on
between now and the end of the year.
Yeah, put pressure on Maidstone and Maidstone in the Oval. But just it's more about us just sort of convincing things, really, isn't it?
But I think of those 5 games, 4 of them you look at and you think, yeah, we can win that. We can beat Hemel. Hemel have really struggled in the last kind of 6 weeks, haven't they? Taunton's a game, started well, but they've fallen off a bit of a cliff. Good win at the weekend against Farnborough, but it's a game you want to go there and win. Chelmsford will be the tough game because that was a good game when we played them at our place. That's the first side we played back twice, I think, isn't it? After Hemel, obviously. So that will be, I think that will be a tough game away from home. And then the 2 games against Truro, you've got to be looking at 6 points in those. So I think there's 4 of the 5 games you look at and think, yeah, we could be winning those. And then the Chelmsford game is one where we'll have to play well on the day.
You'd expect the home wins, wouldn't you? The away games against anyone seem to be a bit tricky this season. So, especially like Taunton and Truro, they do see it as a big game, don't they? No disrespect to them, but that's not a local derby, but.
And whenever we travel in big numbers as well, like we always seem to struggle to perform away from home.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we sold out in Taunton. Truro, you would expect they'll give us at least 1,500, 2,000 tickets, surely, because they don't get many at Parkway, do they? But we've got to sort the away form. The home form home form will see itself out, and you know we should be all right from home. But it's again, if you want promotion, if you really want to focus on getting to Yeovil at the top, you've got to be winning these away games as well. There's still that question mark whether we can.
I thought Johnson took a bit of unfair stick. It's free, you know, he seems fair game for any stick at the moment, but I thought it was a bit unfair, all the stick about when that comment he made about it's everyone's cup final. Well, it is.
Yeah, it's
people coming to Torquay. It's the nicest stadium they play in. Probably just on balance, it's probably nicer than the Oval.
I don't mind the manager saying that, to be honest.
No, I don't mind that, but actually, no, you need to respect that.
Leicester's manager said it, but because he's in form, he can get away with it. He said that when he first walked through the door, he said everyone's going to everyone's cup final with the bigger clubs, and that's fine. That's how I want my manager.
I think it's true. I got a problem with that. And also, I guess it's a way also of Genius team up that actually you can't just turn up and think that you're going to roll these sides over because everyone comes to win at Torquay, don't they? Which in the context of our league would be is a big scout for any of these teams.
If he'd have made that comment in the first season was here, nobody would have thought.
No, exactly.
At the moment, we're still on that kind of knife edge of Gary, aren't we? It only takes one loss and the Gary out.
Oh, absolutely.
Vocal again. We're still on that knife edge, and a lot of people won't change their minds on him, whatever. So it's
no, my mind's still kind of where it is.
At the moment, it's kind of under the microscope.
I'm supporting the football club. It's turning around a little bit. I'm enjoying it. It's not all about.
That's right. And me and Dad were talking about that in the car coming back on Saturday. Just winning a few games doesn't mean I still think you should be manager because I don't think you should. Because I don't think you should have been after last season. But it is what it is, and you've got to, support the team and get some.
You would still expect a squad managed by Gary Johnson to do well at this level, especially.
I still
how I see it.
I still think that Gary Johnson is a great manager. He's probably outdated now, but this conversation we've had so many times. I don't every week. But at the end of the day, I agree, Tom. Like a squad by him should be doing great, and I was still expected to be doing great. You know, so
I think the main thing is he can get criticism, which fairly comes to him when we lose, but when we win, it's okay to say he's done all right.
Yeah, it's all right. Just because you said you want Gary out for 6 months and then you win a few games, that mean you can't enjoy it. It doesn't mean you can't go, oh, well done, Gary, you've done all right in the last few weeks. So I'm totally with you on that one. Yeah, brilliant.
What's the predictions then?
Predictions this weekend. I'm not going to say a clean sheet, and it will be a clean sheet, but my gut has said a clean sheet. So
I've said that a lot
recently,
I'm thinking that.
So it's 2-0 Torquay, because the one time I don't, we'll keep a clean sheet.
I've been looking at Hemmel's form. It's pretty poor, isn't it, Chris? Recently,
and they are playing tomorrow night as well. They're at Havant tomorrow night.
Tomorrow?
Oh, are they?
Tuesday.
Tomorrow night. Yeah.
Wednesday. That's interesting one, actually, yeah.
Oh God, should I go really positive? I'll say, should I say 3-0? I'll say a clean sheet as well. Why not? They did lose to Chippenham 2-0 at home the other night. So
I have to say, I think the home performance has generally been good, and I kind of, for the first time over the last couple of games, I have thought to myself, I think someone's going to get it soon, and I think it's going to be Hemel. I think we're going to win 4-1.
Dan, my Hemel Hempstead supporting mate, this one's for you. Torquay 5, Hemel 1.
Oh my life! God, I thought I'd gone crazy. God, wait till those get tweeted. Tom.
Yeah,
I get enough allegations as it is.
I love the fact he started the video with a pro Gary comment. Now he's saying 4-1. Jesus, cool, dear.
But also quantified it by saying that I don't think you should be in charge still.
But there we go. Thank you for joining us this week. We'll be back next week. We even will have an end of year quiz, whether that's next week or the week after. We'll
have 2 games next week. We'll have Taunton to discuss as well.
Of course, yeah.
Are we all going to Taunton?
Yeah, I brought tickets to the original. So.
Oh, come on, Tommy, come on.
I'm working. I'll be working. Sorry.
No.
So yes, thank you very much for joining us as ever, and we'll see you next week.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.